Hello Marvel Heroes fans, welcome to this very special edition on the upcoming change to the Omega system. By the way, my name is Wilfred Wong and I've been playing this game since closed beta a couple of years ago. Been playing this game a lot, although lately I've been doing a lot of trucking, but I always have your interest at heart and I always remember you guys, and some of you guys always ask me to come on board and inspect some gear. I'm always happy to help you out here. Now, my last videos on the Q&A is on the new upcoming Omega system. There's been a lot of questions coming along, and I thought maybe I go dive into the test center and show you a little bit on the comparison between the new and the old on existing Omega system, and what you should look out for as well. Because there's a lot of speculation, and I'm a number guy, and usually numbers do not lie. So I'm going to share my findings with you, a quick finding though, not in-depth one. And I intend to do a very intensive kind of like a look into the Omega system once it is live, to give you guys some kind of guidance, and it's more like what I would do with the new Omega system anyway. So I'm going to compare between the new and the old, upcoming old. And I'm also going to talk about the brand new Interstellar Exploration as well, for those who may be excited to see how it may help your hero. Okay, now this is test center. Anything in test center is subjected to change. For some very strange reason, I'm getting 8,961 Omega points once I log into here. It could mean a couple of things. Either it is a bug, all right, or it is a test center, so Guardian want to give you some extra Omega point to test the system. Or the system remember all the ops I've been collecting in the past, during my Omega cap. Or there's a new curve that kind of like recalculate all the experience being earned in some strange, bizarre way. Now, although I really hope that this sort of thing, I'll see this sort of thing when I log on to the live server once this is launched. But who knows? But so don't take it too seriously on the number of Omega points I have right now. I have quite a fair bit. So I mean I'm kind of a lazy guy, and for a reason that you'll see later on why this whole Omega race is kind of artificial anyway. Now I think for those who have been watching, reading a forum, you know that some of the notes no longer, you cannot go too deep on some of the notes. Like for example, give you an example, like this one here, prim growth particle is one of the really good notes to have because it has plus strength or as well as health. But you can only get up to 3 points. You cannot go beyond 3. Now same as for the Phoenix as well. All right. So it is plus 4 energy. No longer is plus 10 energy. So that's been even this one here. I think last time Shadow King you can scale up to 20, but now it's only 10. So there's a lot of this kind of changes, but that's fine. I mean I think if you look at the existing Omega system, there are quite a lot of discrepancy between the nodes, and that's why I like number, and I've been rigorously exploiting which are the better nodes to put in, and there's no more cause of escalation anymore. So every rank is 75 points now, for example, for Shadow King, and I would like to know what it really means compared to the existing system, and so give you some idea where things are. All right. So the first thing to take note of is that some of the nodes no longer you can go any deep on that, and and that goes along with some of these things as well. Even the plus. Okay, so this guy here as well. So you used to be able to do 5 points here. Now no longer be able to do 5 points. So and then warpath. A lot of people are pay attention to the warpath. You can no longer do the 10. All right, and most you can do 5. That's all. Right. So what it really means, guys, is that I'm going to show you the numbers right now. So don't get overwhelmed. You can verify with me in a way that you would like to. So now in the past, I mean, this is one of those kind of like a stashed away spreadsheet that helped me to verify for each individual hero. This is a Kitty Pryde hero, by the way, on whether or not I should be picking up a particular note over the other. So I do have a score versus all the I do have a score versus all the kind of whatever gain that I have in terms of Omega points investment. So I'm kind of kind of like rigorously look into. I mean, cost of escalation is one thing, but I also go into the actual heroes and compare. Now, this sort of thing, it's hard to share because it's hard to sort of like cost of escalation at least is something that you could apply, but when it comes to this, it's kind of fine tuning. So, but anyway, what it really means is that if you look at the say spin 10 points to it, in the past you would require about 470 points in order to max this node to give you the 10 rank of it. And but now with the new system, you have to pay more. Instead of 700 and 470, you have to pay 600. So what it really means is that for this particular node, if you want to put like 10 points, it's 600 points. In the past, for the 10 points, you don't need to pay 600 points. You only need to pay like 470. So you pay a lot more. 130 points is quite a fair bit. Now, of course, with the cap being raised, it could mean that I mean, everything is relative, right? I mean, if they change the cap from 7,500 to 10,000, then in fact you have more points to allocate, but then you have more points to farm as well. So that's why I say it's an artificial rat race for this whole entire new Omega system. But anyway, look at the Super Soldier Serum, also one of my favorite. Let's reset this guy. And if you look at the why do I can't you must spend points. Okay, fine. I don't know why I'm unable to sort of like yeah, it is bugged. Anyhow, so this is yet another note that I can cancel. My bad. This is the one that I always like to do. So I take a few scenario. So one scenario is to have a 153. What it really means is that I put 1 point here, put 5 point here, and 3 point here, right? So 153 is this configuration, and it costs this amount of Omega system, Omega points. But if I do the same 153 in the existing system, I mean the difference is you have to pay 38 more, all right, in order to get 153. Now the 3 is the plus 3 strength is where the money comes in, because those are the good notes. So I mean in a way it's similar, but you have to pay a little bit more, all right, for the same kind of benefit that you have in the existing system. But then if you go for the 110.3 or 10.10.3 kind of configuration, which is taught like geek already. Anyway, if you do a 10.10.3 kind of configuration like this one, you actually pay less, just a little bit less, like 100 odd less. So there's some fine tuning there. They want to move some nodes because obviously if you look at the existing Omega system, this node is so much better than any of these nodes above. So I think what they secretly do, or do through a number, is that they make this node a little bit more expensive and make this a little bit cheaper to sort of like balance out the benefit. So it doesn't really matter whether you understand the mathematics behind whether this is better or this one's better. If you just max it or whatever, you pay, you benefit. So that could be one way to interpret it. And then you look at the Goblin Formula 1. This is yet another interesting node, because Goblin Formula locate somewhere here. You need to sort of unlock this tool before leading to here. So this is where you can get your +1 fighting as well. All right. So in the past you can do 5 points. Now you can only do 3 points. All right. So now I sort of scale everything back down. Is that same kind of like discovery. In the old system, I need to only spend this amount of Omega points to reach the +1, +2, and +3 fighting. But now I need to pay more. Right? How much more? I need to pay like 150 more in order to get the +3 fighting. Now, by the way, how do I derive all this number? Is that I look at the remainder Omega point after I put in the points to, for example, once I put in like 3 points here, my remaining point is 77996. So that become like the 7796, and I minus off my max Omega point right now is 8961, all right, because that is my max one, 8961, and that gives me the number of points I need to invest onto this node, and I do a difference between the old system and the new system to see whether I'm paying more or paying less. So again, you pay more for Goblin formula. But how about Shadow King? Shadow King 6. Let's look at Shadow King 10. Which is the maximum of it. Again, you actually pay more for the Shadow King. There's no Mosh 13 anymore, so there's no comparison there. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do the Psionic Overload. I heard it's a little bit overpowered in this new system, so I skipped that because they may tune it, right? So no point talking about it. Pim Growth, the one that gives you +3 strength. Again, you have to pay more to get what you used to have. So this is the one. Again, is the Pim Growth. All right, this one. After the 3 point, because you sort of like, you know, yeah, I don't know how they sort of like do but it's kind of very similar, but you pay 55 points more. I don't know, man. If you talk to my wife, 55 points is a lot. If you talk to me, I say, well, yeah, it's loose change. But no, I'm just kidding, man. It's a lot. It's hard to earn even 10 after, like, you know, yeah, I mean, I'm lazy, right? I don't really play this game. Most of the time, I just stay in the training room. You guys know me. So, yeah, it's sad that I can't prestige anymore. I can't do this anymore. I have to go and farm Omega point. Anyhow, if you look at Xenogenesis, which is also another, to me, is pretty decent one. Again, I mean, you can only do 5 points to it, and if you do 5 points to it, what it really means is that, well, by the way, this one gives you a bit of brutal. It's not really an efficient node, by the way, in the old system, so this day I kind of like don't do it anymore. But then, you know, you actually have to pay quite a fair bit more on this one, so I don't know. But how about things like yield suppression and tactical neural implants, all right? So these are the ones that I initially, in my build, I use it by just looking at the cost escalation. But then after that, I do a deeper analysis to it and say, well, these are not really worth you know, spending my money or my points on. Let me just find it for you. So I'm talking about this skill suppression, which is more for brutal, all right, which has a diminishing return. And I'm talking about this guy here as well, the tactical neural implant. So what happened is that they kept this to 5, I think. I think previously there was a 10, and this one is still a 10. So again, I went through the numbers here, and what it really means is that if you stick to the 5, you actually have to pay more. And by the way, these are already inefficient nodes in the past, and now you have to even pay more. So I don't know why pay more. Anyway, but then if you dump enough points to it, like 10 points to it, then, you know, of course you gain. -1 to 1 means that you pay less. But then in the past, I would not in a million year pour in 10 points in a tactical neural implant because the score is just too low, way too low. Why would I want to waste my money on this one, points on this one? Anyway, so now if you look at Frenzy as well, Frenzy is the one that pretty similar before and after. So Frenzy is this guy here. All right. So this one is the one that gives you the crit damage rating when you hit melee power. Now, you know, in the past, we could exploit the system using the diminishing return. So you don't need to put in too many points and you still earn quite a lot of benefit compared to the, you know, max node. Now, what they've done now is that they equalize everything. So if I look at if I try to abuse the system a little bit, like last time I put 6 points instead of 10 to get the nice curve to it, then, you know, again, it's not a good node anyway. Again, you know, you have to pay 78 points more to get there. And you only get a little bit, like, you know, like, I don't know why things are like just not looking very happy here. So again, you know, that is yet another note that I probably will not pay too much attention even. But again, you know, I have to look into all the notes in totality in the new system. How about +5 fighting? Again, you have to pay more, 210 points more to get there. Now, you know, it doesn't really make sense. I don't know. Maybe it's just a test center thingy, but. Sometimes maybe we need to rethink the whole thing, because you know, last time when I put 5 points, it cost me 1,080. Now it's 1,290. All right, and now I look at Sabertooth. Those are so nodes. It's all right. It's pretty similar, but you have to take the max of it to benefit the most. But in the past, I wouldn't have maxed it anyway because it's just inefficient. And Apocalypse, this is just for academic exercise. Previously it cost this much and now cost this much, so yes, it's a lot more as well. So what it really means, guys, is that you know, the old way of thinking probably would not work. I know there's someone in the forum has done some analysis and said, well, guys, don't worry, you know, I'm playing Cyclops and everything is just looks as before. I mean, it depends, right? Because it depends on what hero you are using. Because if you are playing a hybrid hero, you benefit from this new Omega tab called the Interstellar Exploration. And also that this call for a change of thinking behind which node to pick versus, you know, in the past it's about, you know, there's always a very clear cut on some of the nodes or even some of the how many points to invest to get the, you know, optimal benefit. Now you can't. So if you use the same old way of thinking in a new system, it probably would not work. You probably have to spread your points into some other node that become more cost efficient compared to the old days, like some of that, you know, you may see. But overall, I see everything become a little bit more expensive for reasons beyond me. And I'll have to take a look again to see what really happened. I mean, I'm not entirely convinced that on day one, if I just have 7,500 nodes, I would achieve the same kind of DPS output. However, with the curve fitting, it's hard to compare because now I log in, I have close to 9,000 Omega point. Now, of course, you know, after dumping 9,000 Omega point, my hero may be a little bit stronger than before, but it's hard to compare. And a lot of you would be getting a lot of like extra Omega point as well due to the whole curve fitting system. You know, if you're well below 7,500 points, so again, you'll feel more powerful. But like I say, this is artificial rat race. It just, I'm never a supporter for raising Omega cap because, you know, I feel that if a system is nicely done, you know, that is a cap, and we all work towards the cap and allocate accordingly. Raising a cap is just call for everything being rebalanced to sort of like, you know, because the content cannot be too easy, right? So, but that's my point, and I hate Omega raising. So no, I'm not feel that I need to level again. But anyway, if you look at, so the next part of the video is about the interstellar exploration. So I would like to just share with you what I found here and some of my thoughts as well on this. Now, of course, the big sort of like the big value probably come in somewhere inner because you need to sort of like research on it. So I start with the Hala first. I think this is all right. I mean, the number is very, very tiny anyway. It's for the physical power, and there's quite a lot of physical heroes. So rejoice. And then after that, you have range and melee as well. That is good. So whenever you have range and melee, you know, kind of mixed to it, then probably it's good. I don't know. I have to go through the numbers to see whether it's just fine or not. But if you have physical range and melee hero, yeah, I mean, you know, you're happy. Yeah, quite a lot of heroes belong to this category because these two nodes is very relevant to you. Then after that, base against, you know, then again, you know, range and melee, physical, rejoice because, you know, I reached this node here, has another 3 point here that, you know, not only physical, then you have energy, you have mental as well. So you can research any of these 3 paths into here because, you know, there are energy heroes like Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel that has both the range and melee, but she doesn't really like, you know, she does both the energy and physical. So I don't know, man, I know, but I'm not a designer, of course. But if I were, I would actually put something here or make it like a hybrid here. But anyhow, so so this one it go in. It's pretty nice for the melee and range physical, and this one is that I don't think I mean, this is more for spirit gain, but you know, in the past, you know, one spirit doesn't really mean a lot. During boss fight, it means quite a fair bit in terms of the cosmic patrol or patrol environment when you have a lot of like enemy hitting. So if you are looking at the boss fight, one spirit per hit is alright. I mean, you know, it's not really something that I would bring into end game, probably not. Then after that, you have this guy here. You know, again, this one is the mental, energy, and the physical. So it's very relevant to hybrid. So I would suppose if you're hybrid, this is a very nice node as well. So that leads to this whole thing in between. So I'm not going to talk about this one first. Let's talk about all this whatever thing that you call it, like octopus. Okay, so this is deflect and melee damage rating. So it's good for those. I would say it's good for those that are defense and dodge hero. It's not really that great for deflect defense or, you know, deflect dodge hero. I mean, it's good for defense and dodge hero, yeah, because, you know, of the diminishing return. All right, and then you have this one. You're sacrificing defense to the tools that I'm never a big fan of dodge and deflect compared to defense. But again, it's playing a game of a diminishing return because you are chipping off your defense because that suffer a little bit on the defense diminishing return and fine tune on the deflect and dodge. But I think the cost is a little bit too high though. I mean, 22 points. To sort of like no, I mean I wish there wasn't any penalty on the deflect on the defense that would make it quite reasonable to use, but no, I wouldn't. No, and by the way, defense is a lot more valuable, I feel, compared to deflect and dodge because you can't have the costume for defense, and there's not a lot of notes. I think I have to go through the notes again that give you pure defense in the Omega system. So why sacrifice on that? Don't know. Summon this one and the well, you know, all right, nice to have. It's just one of those point waster that go into. I don't know whether it's good to have this few or not. Maybe it's fun. I don't know. 1% chance. How often will you see that? And the this one is good for like patrol environment. Again, single target boss. You probably would not have triggered this anyway. Moving on, target attacking you again. You know. Unless you're soloing, you don't really have a lot of opportunity where a target is attacking you. Even in the patrol or even in raid, I mean, how often does the boss keep attacking you, right? I mean, it's not 40 points, it's not little. So, okay, so this side is so-so. I'm not that keen. This side is alright. So now, what about this one? Normal and elite enemy is alright. I mean, again, if you are taking endgame, the boss is boss. They are not. I don't think boss are elite anyway. So guys, let me know. Deflect rating while you are moving is totally, I don't know, man. Why? I don't know why they have this one. Anyhow, mental damage rating when you hit the range, so that is good for Scarlet Witch. Not really a hybrid thingy though, but it's more of a very situational one. Melee, mental range. So Scarlet Witch. All right. And the when you hit a range, you're brutal. So again, it's a mental range heroes who benefit from here. And then the range, again, mental range. So now what I gather from here is that if you are mental range, you're happy because of this thingy here. If you are physical melee range, you're happy because of this thing here. So what about energy? I don't know. Anyhow. So now let's go into this whole planet here because I think that's more exciting. Nowhere is 20-second cooldown on this sort of thing. I don't believe in it, man. I don't think this sort of like works anyway. +1 speed only for movement build. I don't think I'm not invest. I mean, even for movement hero nowadays, how many hero do you have a maximum movement? Like, you know, if you have +1 energy for say Scarlet Witch, you can benefit everything that she does, right? Because everything she does is a mental power. If you say a +1 energy to Star-Lord, you know, it benefits everything he does because it's energy. If you want to have +1 speed for X23 because she's a movement hero, but not everything she does is movement, right? Her main spender is not movement. There's quite a number of power that's not movement. So why do I? Yeah, so I can never understand this whole +1 speed. +1 speed to me should cost 150 points. I mean, just because it doesn't benefit everything that in my tool set, right? If I were a designer, right? The moon is the deflect and health. So it is interesting because if your hero is like defense and dodge, you probably want to have some deflect to it because the deflect is slow in diminishing return. But if I already have defense, I'm already quite happy. So I would rather this one is a defense as well if I were the designer, which I was not. Then again, 700 points for durability, speed, and energy. I mean, energy is about. It shouldn't be okay. Let's compare, right? In the new system, how much is energy? So you have 1,001. You know, so it's like 300 points per. Wow, it's quite expensive nowadays. 300 points. So 300 points per attribute point. So around there around. So right. So yeah. So that is quite a fair bit. This one is for movement energy kind of like thing. If Nova, I know quite a number of you like him. I don't know whether it's considered as movement or not. I don't think so. Anyhow, so yet another note that I probably ignore. Then this one is good because it is to interprop each other, and they got it right this time because we have a lot of discussion within the guild or super group, because if you look at if three. If you look at just now, plus 1 energy costs you about 300 omega point, then this is actually pretty good because you can't have the both. I mean, you can't have power that have both energy and strength and physical anyway. So so this is a really good note as well. And by looking at it, that's why some of this. I think I can understand why one of the theory crafter who posted in the in forum say, oh, no worry, everything is fine, 7,000 point, it's the same for Cyclops because Cyclops has this one, and it's a lot cheaper to get it than the plus 3. I mean, if you get 3 of them, I mean, 4 of them is only like plus 4 is only 800 points, right? Versus the plus 4 here, right? Of course you get a lot more from it. So I mean, it is because this tree is not even balanced as compared to others. So yeah, now I understand why the analysis shows that 7,500. I mean, the new Omega system seems alright, but I don't think it is. It's just that because of this new tree that you can abuse on this number here. Anyhow, so and after that, this one is not. Well, I mean, this is interesting. Again, we have to look into all these numbers. And 1% chance, I don't know how good that would be anyhow. And how about the one right in the middle, minus spirit cost and also plus base damage. I think it's pretty decent, but the cost is pretty high as well if you're looking at like 10 points in here. So if you do so the minus spirit cost doesn't scale up, that's dumb. Yeah, I thought it would go up like, that's pretty dumb. Plus 10 base damage is wow for how many points to it? I think there's quite a lot for 1,000 points to have plus 10 base damage. So how do you figure this out, right? I mean, plus 10 base damage is like 2 point something plus strength or plus energy, and it costs you about 800 plus or so. Yeah, it's quite a fair bit. Team up again. No, I don't. It's rubbish. Anyway, I don't know. All these are just test center. So I think in closing, to wrap up, it's interesting to have something new. It's interesting for me too because I will be able to look into all the notes and to kind of like calculate what works and what doesn't. I'm going to explore the whole thing like I always do. Exploit, quote unquote. Don't ban my account to figure out which one is probably it's very simple for me. So I'm going to use a basket of heroes, maybe 10 heroes. All different attributes, run through all the nodes with them, and because now it's no diminishing return, so I think it's a lot easier for me to find out which node is the most efficient compared to the omega points that's being spent on it. So I will do that for myself and for you guys as well. And I mean, these are all subjected to change. I mean, don't take it as it is, and don't rage, man. I mean, sometimes life is too short to have all the blood pressure to go up. And it's just a game. If you need something relaxing, join me to drive a truck. It's really, really relaxing. Anyhow, thank you for watching. Thank you very much. And thank you for engaging with me. I always enjoy the kind of like, you guys still keep me in the game. Seriously. I mean, this game, I'm so done with it. But you guys are out there, I'm doing it for you guys. All right. Have a good weekend for those who are already in Saturday. And see you next time. Goodbye.